Hello everyone, welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS Academy. So friends, as we all know that the interim budget has been presented by the Finance Minister of India on 1st of Feb. So this is the government document which is available on the government website, and इस document में से हम आज जो है we are going to decipher some themes on which the government is trying to work, and कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें देखेंगे जो आपके प्रीलिमिनरी एग्जाम के लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, विकसित भारत by 2047. Now under this Viksit Bharat, what is the main mantra as per this interim budget? What is the main mantra and where government is going to focus mainly? It is trinity of demography, democracy and diversity. So as per the finance minister, these three things, the democracy, the demography of India and the diversity of India can help India to grow or can help Indian economy to grow. Now, sabka vikas, sabka sath, sabka vikas and sabka vishwas. This is the main theme on which government wants to work, and government wants to make India a developed nation by the year 2047. Now, what different approaches are there? तो अब जो है people centric inclusive development approach. तो government जो है during this tenure and what has been presented by the government, कि गवर्नमेंट सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक एरिया के ऊपर फोकस नहीं कर रही. गवर्नमेंट जो है कई मल्टीपल एरियाज के ऊपर फोकस कर रही है. ठीक है, चाहे उसकी बात कर ली जाए, हम बात करें इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की, गवर्नमेंट इज ट्राइंग टू डेवलप physical infrastructure, government is trying to develop the digital infrastructure as well. So physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, then government is also working on the tax system. गवर्नमेंट ने जीएसटी इंप्लीमेंट किया, तो जीएसटी के साथ गवर्नमेंट का बहुत सारा जो है टैक्स कलेक्शन, जो रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन है वो बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा है. और उसके बाद अगर बात की जाए फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर, एज वी ऑल नो द बैंकिंग सेक्टर इज द बैकबोन ऑफ एनी इकोनॉमी इन दिस वर्ल्ड, एंड गवर्नमेंट ने बैंकिंग का जो सबसे बड़ा इशू है दैट इज एनपीए, तो एनपीए को भी कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश की गई है. और उसके बाद गिफ्ट सिटी. नाउ व्हाट इज द गिफ्ट सिटी? गिफ्ट सिटी है जो आपकी गुजरात में है, और गिफ्ट सिटी एक ऐसी प्लेस है वेयर द फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स दे कैन कम टू दिस एरिया एंड दे कैन इन्वेस्ट देयर मनी थ्रू द गिफ्ट सिटी इनिशिएटिव. नाउ ये सारे के सारे मेजर इनिशिएटिव्स हैं. और अगर देखा जाए फ्रॉम लास्ट 10 years, what is the level of achievement or what is the scenario of Indian economy? अगर बात की जाए growth of the world economy, so Indian economy की जो performance है as the average growth rate of the world economy, Indian economy की performance जो आप देख रहे हो वो काफ़ी अच्छी रही है in the last जो है आपके हम बात कर सकते हैं 10 years tenure. अगर बात की जाए focus area, तो गवर्नमेंट किन चीज़ों के ऊपर फोकस करना चाहती है in the upcoming years? First one is the garib or poverty. Now here again, as I said, there are few terms which are important from your pre-perspective. Now this is headcount ratio, decline in headcount ratio. Now what is the meaning of the term headcount ratio? The number of poor people in a country. The number of poor people in a country, that is known as the headcount ratio. ये आपके प्री के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो जैसा कि हम देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे क्या है, परसेंटेज ऑफ पॉपुलेशन हुआ और मल्टी डायमेंशनली पुअर. Multi-dimensional poverty, again another concept for your pre. Now day by day or year on year, the number of poor who fall into the category of multi-dimensional poverty, these numbers are reducing. That means government is trying to upbring, or government is trying to give the opportunities to the people so that the overall level of poverty or multi-dimensional poverty in India can be reduced. Now direct benefit transfer scheme has a saving, overall saving of the people due to the subsidy provided by the government. It is 2.7 lakh crore. Now 25 crore people moved out of multi-dimensional poverty in these last 10 years. Now credit assistance to 78 lakh street vendors. Now again another important thing for your PM Swanidhi Yojana. Again it is important from your pre perspective. So दो terms यहाँ पे आपके pre के लिए, तीन terms actually ज़रूरी है. ये scheme started by the government, then your headcount ratio, what is the meaning of headcount ratio, and the third one is multidimensional poverty. Now there is a multidimensional poverty index which we have already discussed. Now empowering the youth, another area where government is trying to focus, it is demography. Now Three themes are there: democracy, demography and diversity. Now government is focusing on this present demography. Government is trying to create job opportunities. Government is trying to create the business opportunities. Now 1.4 crore youth trained under Skill India mission. Now uske baad fostering entrepreneurship aspirations to around 43 crore youths through the PM Mudra Yojana. Now what is PM Mudra Yojana? Government is providing a loan to the MSME sector or to the individuals, those who wants to start their initiative, their business. So government is providing a loan under PM Mudra Yojana. Again, it is important from your perspective. Now another thing is PM Shri budget allocation, increase in PM Shri budget allocation. Earlier it was 4,000, now it has been increased to 6,000 crore rupees. Now government, as I said, government is not just focusing on one area. Government is developing all type of infrastructure facilities, all type of educational facilities. Now the second area, it is focus on the farmer. Focus on the farmer. Now government, day by day, government is trying to rationalize the subsidies which are being provided to the agriculture sector. Now earlier government was providing these subsidies through the intermediaries, but due to leakages and wastage of money, government has shifted towards the direct benefit transfer. Now 11.8 crore farmers under PM Kisan Yojana, they got the direct benefit from the government. Now what is this PM Kisan Yojana? Again, it is important from your perspective. Now crop insurance, again PM Fasal Bima Yojana, PM Fasal Bima Yojana 2.0. Now this insurance scheme is available under which all type of rabi crops, kharif crops and your horticulture crops are covered and these are insured. Again, this is important from your perspective, and government is providing this insurance facility to around 4 crore farmers in India. Now integration of mandis. Now again there is an initiative started by the government, because the major issue in India, it is the farmers are not getting enough opportunities to sell their produce in the open markets. So there is Interim which is connecting a farmer to the mandis of India or throughout India. So this Interim initiative is there, and government is trying to integrate the mandis through this Interim initiative. Again, day by day the procurement from the government of this rice and wheat, it is increasing, because rice and wheat, these are two major crops which are the part of your MSP system. Now narishakti again, because around 50% of the population of India, it comprises of female population. Okay, now so that means we need to focus on female, or we need to empower the females or women. Now 30 crore Mudra Yojana loans have been given to these female or women entrepreneurs. Increased female enrollment in higher education, it has been increased by 28% in last 10 years. So more and more females, they are getting educated, which is going to help our society to grow ultimately. Now 43% of the female enrollment in STEM courses, and 1 crore women assisted by 83 lakh self-help groups. Again, what are these self-help groups? These are the groups created by the females, and these groups are getting loans from the banks and they are starting their own business. Now again, rise in female labor force participation rate. Again, now labor force participation rate, what is the meaning of the term labor force participation rate? This is again important from your perspective, and there is periodic labor force survey which is being conducted on every year basis. So this periodic labor force survey is important. The few terms which are mentioned in this periodic labor force survey, again these are important from your perspective. And if we look at the figures, past 5 years data, so the labor force, women participation in the labor force, it has increased from 23 to 37%. Again, for your periodic labor force survey, and the figures mentioned in this periodic labor force survey, these are important, because the term or the question can be like, from last 5 years the women labor force participation is continuously increasing, it is continuously decreasing, it is stagnated. So these type of statements you can only answer if you have read that periodic labor force survey. So it is again important from the perspective. Now the next thing is strategy for amritkaal. again, amritkaal, this is a term which is being used everywhere nowadays. Now, what is the main strategy for amritkaal? Sustainable development. Again, what is the meaning of the term sustainable development? Developing your economy along with the sustainability or along with the environmental. You need to we can say आपको environment को भी sustain करना है and आपको economy को भी जो है grow करवाना है और economy को ऊपर लेके जाना है. Now, commitment to meet net zero. Again, there is a commitment made by the Indian government that by 2070 India would be a net zero carbon emission country. Now, what is the meaning of the term net zero carbon emission country? That doesn't mean that we will stop emitting the carbon, but whatever carbon we are going to emit into the environment, that much amount of carbon we are going to absorb. That is the meaning of net zero by 2070. Now, viability gap fund. Again, to achieve this net zero, what we need to do? We need to focus on renewable sources of energy. So, government has started various schemes and government is focusing on various renewable energy sources and various other sources of energy which can emit lesser carbon into the atmosphere. Like wind energy is there, CNG, PNG and compressed biogas is there, and rooftop solarization. Recently, the Prime Minister of India has announced a scheme, and under that scheme 1 crore households in India, they are going to get the facility of rooftop solar panels and they are going to get 300 units of electricity free of cost per month on the monthly basis. So again, this is to reduce the overall carbon emission from the Indian economy. And other things, government is also focusing on public transportation and government is trying to convert these public transportation facilities and government is trying to run these public transportation facilities on the renewable energy sources or electric vehicles. And there is a scheme, FAME India scheme. Now again, what is this FAME India? It is something which is promoting the development, the adoption of the electric vehicles to be used in India. Now, next thing is strategy for amritkaal. Second strategy, first strategy is sustainable development, second is infrastructure and investment. As we have discussed in the initial slide, that government is not only focusing on the creation of physical infrastructure, government is developing the overall infrastructure, whether it is physical, digital, whether it is transportation infrastructure, whether it is waterways, it is your roadways, railways. Now in the recent budget, 3 major railway corridors has been passed. Now again, government is going to create these rail corridors which is going to reduce the traffic on the roadways. Now promotion of foreign investment via bilateral investment treaties. Again, if you need to develop, if you want to develop this infrastructure, then you need huge amount of funding. Now to get those funds, government has started various initiatives to attract FIIs and to attract FDIs in India. Now expansion of existing airports. There is another scheme, UDAN scheme. Again, important from your pre-perspective. What is the meaning of UDAN? What is this scheme all about? Which ministry is taking care of this scheme and all and all? So under UDAN scheme, UDAN stands for Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. Under this scheme, government has created various airports and now government is further developing more airports under this UDAN scheme. Now promotion of urban transportation via metro rail and Namo Bharat. Again, Namo Bharat trains. These are the fast moving trains to connect the cities, nearby cities with each other. So fast transportation, public transportation services we are trying to develop. Now again, increase in capital expenditure. Now these type of figures or these type of questions or statements can be there in your pre. So यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है. Now what is the meaning of capex? Capex means capital expenditure. Now day by day or year on year, the capital expenditure of the government of India, it is increasing. 2 different type of expenditures are there, revenue and capital. Capital expenditure is the expenditure which is going to give you a return in the near future. So day by day, the capital expenditure of the government of India, it is increasing because day by day government is spending huge amount of money on the infrastructure creation and on other things. Now doubling the FDI inflow in the year 10 years from 2005 to 14, the overall FDI was this much, and in the last 10 years the overall FDI flow has almost doubled in India. And why more and more FDI is coming to India? Again, the same reason, ease of doing business has been promoted by this government, and more foreigners or the foreign companies, they are interested to invest into Indian economy. Now again, improvement in the physical infrastructure. Day by day, the number of physical infrastructure, whether it is about the airports, aircraft movement, whether it is about the railways or anything, the number of these infrastructure facilities are increasing. Now, the third concept or the third area of focus under amritkaal, it is your inclusive development. Now, inclusive development, there is an aspirational district program. Now, under aspirational district program, this program is to assist the states in the faster development and inclusive employment generation or inclusive development of the various states, of the various districts. Now, this program has been started by the central government, and under this program, center is helping the states government, or center is helping the state governments to develop those states, to develop the society in those states, to develop the economy in those states. Now, again, health. The major issue with the health, it is cervical cancer. Now, cervical cancer is a common problem with the middle-aged women, that we can say from 40 to 50 years of age, the cervical cancer is a common problem. So, government has started, or government is encouraging the vaccination for this cervical cancer, which is a major problem for the female or women. Now, Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2, again these two initiatives, these are to provide the nutritional diet. So, government is trying to provide, the government is trying to improve the health status of the society. How we can improve the health status of the society? If we are fulfilling the nutritional requirement, if we are providing the nutritions or nutritional food to the public. Now, you win platform for the immunization efforts of Mission Indradhanush. Again, Mission Indradhanush is there, and from last 20 years government is vaccinating all the public under this Mission Indradhanush. Now, health cover, Ayushman Bharat scheme is there. Now, under this interim budget, government has included Asha and Anganwadi workers under this Ayushman Bharat scheme. And through this Ayushman Bharat, government is providing 5 lakh rupee health insurance. So, now onwards, these Asha workers and Anganwadi workers, by default, they would also be covered under this Ayushman Bharat scheme. Now, next area of focus under amritkaal, that is inclusive development. Again, what is the meaning of inclusive development? That every area would be focused upon. Not only one particular sector, all the sectors would be focused upon, and all the states would be the part of this development. Now, government has started a scheme, or government has announced to start a scheme to provide housing facility to the middle class, eligible middle class, those who are living on rent. Government has started a scheme, or government is going to start a scheme. It has been announced by the government. They are going to start the scheme to include or to provide cheap housing facilities to the middle class in India. Why? Because day by day the number of middle class, it is increasing. Those to whom government is taking out from the poverty, they are becoming the part of middle class. So, you need to ensure, you need to give them the living space, a cheap living space. The next area is tourism. Again, government is trying to develop the tourism, and we all know about the Lakshadweep. The recent, there was also a controversy created by the neighboring country on the visit by the Prime Minister of India on the Lakshadweep Island. So, government is trying to promote the overall tourism in India, because it is a part of your service economy. Now, the next is food processing, agriculture and food processing. As per the reports by Niti Aayog and various other agencies, every year India is wasting around 90,000 crore worth agricultural produce. Because of lack of processing facilities, we are wasting this much amount of food. So, government is trying to promote the food processing industry. Why? Because by promoting the food processing industry, whatever wastage would be there, there will be no wastage, because we can, whatever surplus production would be there, we can easily use that surplus production to process that production, and the shelf life of the processed food can also be increased, and it is going to enhance our overall exports from India. And parallelly, it will create a alternate job opportunity for the agricultural or the farmers, those who are available in the agriculture sector, those who are working in the agriculture sector. So here government is trying to promote the food processing industry through the public and private partnership, and government wants the private sector to invest into the post-harvest activities. Second is nano DAP. Again, nano DAP, government is promoting the use of nano DAP, because again the efficiency of using nano DAP as compared to any another urea or any another fertilizer, it is way higher. Now oil seeds, India at present, India is fulfilling its oil seeds requirement through imports, and this is impacting our import bill, and this is leading to inflation. And oil, these are the things which we consume on the daily basis. So government has started various initiatives, government has started various different schemes. pmshriyojana is there. So under these schemes, what government is trying to do, government is trying to increase the the productivity of oil seeds in India, so that the number of imports in India can be reduced and we can become a self-reliant economy for the oil seeds or oil consumption within India. Again, government is also focusing on dairy development, government is also focusing on aquaculture, and by promoting all these activities, government is trying to increase the income of the farmers, those who are engaged into these type of activities. Now, Indian economy, agar baat ki jaye, declining CAD stands for current account deficit. Now, day by day or year on year, the current account. Now, this particular figure, this particular graph, it is important. The question can be that from last 5 years, the current account deficit of India, it is continuously rising, it is continuously decreasing. Now, यहाँ से अगर हम देखें, ठीक, तो there is nothing like continuously increasing, continuously decreasing. ठीक, तो आपको ये थोड़ी सी चीज़ें देखनी पड़ेंगी, इसीलिए ये जो आपके सामने ग्राफ है ये इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाते हैं आपके प्री के लिए. ठीक है, अगर बात की जाए परसेंटेज, 1 सेकेंड, थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे बोर्ड में ग्लिच आ रहा है. डिक्लाइनिंग अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट. नाउ as per the government figures, from last 5 years, the unemployment rate in India, it is continuously decreasing. It is continuously decreasing. ठीक? Now, then declining GNPA, gross non-performing assets. So, the gross non-performing assets, again, if the question is there, like from last 5 years, yes, from last 5 years, the banking gross NPA is continuously decreasing. Then rising volume of digital transactions. Yes, from last many years, the digital transaction, the volume of digital transaction, it is increasing day by day. Fall in headline inflation. Headline inflation, yes, overall, जिसको आप बोलते हो CPI. Now CPI is your headline inflation. Now headline inflation in India, the maximum range set by the government, by the parliament, it is 2 to 6. This CPI can be there within the range of 2 to 6. So the headline inflation in India post COVID or due to COVID, the inflation increased, and now government is trying to reduce, and the RBI is trying to reduce that inflation range as well. Again, what is important here? What is this headline inflation? This is important from your pre-perspective. Headline inflation, and there is another concept which is core inflation. So there is a difference between headline and core inflation. What is that difference? You need to read about this. Now, rise in average monthly gross GST collection. GST, the first or the largest tax collection instrument for the government of India, as per the figures released by the government, this is the income tax. And the second largest tax instrument which is generating income for the government, this is GST. So monthly, on the monthly basis, the overall GST collection is increasing on monthly basis, and on yearly basis it is increasing, and it has become the second largest instrument or second largest tax in India after income tax. Now, achievements of taxation reforms. Yes, what was there? फर्स्ट डायरेक्ट कलेक्शन जो आपका टैक्स जो है लास्ट 10 ईयर्स में वो बढ़ गया है, और उसके बाद नंबर ऑफ फाइल्स और जो आपके लोग जो हैं इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न्स फाइल करते हैं वो भी इंक्रीज हो गया है फ्रॉम बाय 2.4 टाइम्स। देन फास्टर रिफंड्स, पहले जो आपका पैसा वापस आता था, जो भी आप टीडीएस कटवाते हो उसमें बहुत दिन लगते थे, बट नाउ इट हैज़ बीन रिड्यूस टू 10 days ओनली। तो ये आपके प्री के लिए इतने इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है। पॉइंट्स की अगर बात की जाए तो जीएसटी का ग्रॉस जो है ऑन मंथली बेसिस वो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है। नाउ अगेन देयर इज अ टर्म टैक्स बायंसी। नाउ दिस टैक्स बायंसी इज अगेन एन इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म फॉर योर प्री एग्जाम। सो टैक्स बायंसी ऑफ द स्टेट जो है वो भी इंक्रीज हुई है, और उसके बाद जो है पॉजिटिव सेंटिमेंट्स, बिकॉज यहाँ पे एक चीज़ और इंटरिम बजट में क्या है, देयर इज नो चेंज इन द टैक्स रेट, ठीक है। और टैक्स प्रपोजल में अगर बात की जाए, फर्स्ट गवर्नमेंट इज ट्राइंग टू गिव द बेनिफिट्स टू दी स्टार्टअप्स। सो स्टार्टअप के लिए एक स्कीम जो है गवर्नमेंट ने स्टार्ट की थी, तो जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं उनके लिए जो स्कीम है उसका एंड होना था मार्च 2024 में। नाउ दिस टैक्स बेनिफिट हैज़ बीन एक्सटेंडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट फॉर द स्टार्टअप्स एंड अदर्स टिल द ईयर 2025। नाउ विड्रॉल, कुछ ऐसी टैक्स जो आपके डिस्प्यूट्स थे बिटवीन द गवर्नमेंट एंड द इंडिविजुअल्स जो पिछले 20, 30, 40, 50 साल से कंटिन्यूटी में थे, तो गवर्नमेंट ने वो सारे के सारे जो टैक्स डिमांड है उनको विड्रॉ किया गया है, ठीक है। सो अगेन अ रिलीफ फॉर द इंडिविजुअल्स एज वेल एज द कॉर्पोरेट्स। नाउ अनदर थिंग इज सेम टैक्स रेट हैज़ नॉट बीन चेंज इन दिस इंटरिम बजट। एज आई सेड, इंटरिम बजट जो होता है वो एक जो है गवर्नमेंट उसको लेके आती है ताकि उसको अगले 3 से 4 महीने का जो उसका एक्सपेंडिचर है उसकी परमिशन मिल जाए। तो इंटरिम बजट क्योंकि इलेक्शन ईयर में आता है तो इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा बड़े जो चेंजेस जो हैं वो गवर्नमेंट कभी भी नहीं लेके आती। नाउ ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट है आपके लिए प्री पर्सपेक्टिव से। 1 रुपया जो गवर्नमेंट की इनकम है आउट ऑफ द टोटल इनकम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, कहाँ से जो पैसा आता है, ठीक है। और अगर आप देखें तो सबसे ज़्यादा जो है इनकम, इनकमिंग मनी, वो बोरोइंग से जनरेट होती है, ठीक। और अगर उसके बाद देखा जाए, मैंने क्या बोला, टैक्स में इनकम टैक्स जो है 19% ऑफ द इनकम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इज बीइंग जनरेटेड बाय द इनकम टैक्स, 18% ऑफ द इनकम इज बीइंग जनरेटेड बाय द जीएसटी। तो ये आपके प्री के लिए थोड़ी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाती है ये वाली फिगर्स, ठीक है, कि सबसे ज़्यादा पैसा जो इनकम गवर्नमेंट की जनरेट होती है दैट इज थ्रू द बोरोइंग। यस, इट इज़ वेरी राइट। नाउ 1 रुपया आता कहाँ से है, वो ये है आपके सामने, और ये जो 1 रुपी है या जितनी भी गवर्नमेंट का एक्सपेंडिचर है वो जाता कहाँ है। और यहाँ पे सबसे जो इम्पॉर्टेंट है, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर इट गोज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट्स। वट एवर लोन्स हैव बीन टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट, वो उसके लोन की जो रीपेमेंट है, जो उसकी इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट है, नॉट द प्रिंसिपल पेमेंट, उसकी इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट में 20% ऑफ द मनी जो है वो गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जा रही है। सो ये आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो है ये बन जाता है। 1 रुपया आता कहाँ से है, और गवर्नमेंट के सोर्सेज ऑफ इनकम क्या है, उनके कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन क्या है, गवर्नमेंट के सोर्सेज ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर क्या है, और कहाँ पे कितना पैसा स्पेंड हो रहा है बाय द गवर्नमेंट। उसके बाद एलोकेशंस टू द वेरियस मिनिस्ट्रीज, ठीक है। ये कोई बहुत ज़्यादा, आपको बस एक चीज़ देखनी है, यहाँ पे एलोकेशन आपको क्लियरली दिखा रही है क्या, कि इंपॉर्टेंस दिखा रही है, ठीक है। आपके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर की इंपॉर्टेंस बहुत ज़्यादा है, वहाँ पे पैसा दिया गया है, और आपके जो एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की इंपॉर्टेंस है, ठीक, उसको उतना ही ज़्यादा जो पैसा दिया गया है। और उसके बाद मेजर स्कीम्स, आपके पास वेरियस डिफरेंट स्कीम्स आर देयर। अगेन ये जो स्कीम्स हैं ये इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके प्री पर्सपेक्टिव से, मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव से। इन सब स्कीम्स को जो है आप थोड़ा सा ध्यान से देखेंगे। प्रोडक्शन लिंक्ड इंसेंटिव स्कीम इज देयर। अगर इंडिया को प्रोडक्शन हब बनना है तो उसके लिए पीएलआई स्कीम हैज बीन स्टार्टेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, ठीक। तो इस स्कीम का भी देखिए पैसा जो है हर स्कीम के लिए, मेजर जितनी भी स्कीम्स हैं उनके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने एलोकेशन जो है बढ़ा दी है, बिकॉज दिस पीएलआई स्कीम इट इज हेल्पिंग अस टू अट्रैक्ट मोर एफडीआई इन इंडिया फॉर द प्रोडक्शन एक्टिविटीज। सोलर पावर, अगेन सोलर पावर 1 करोड़ घरों में जो है आपके रूफटॉप सोलर आपको प्रोवाइड करना है, तो उसके लिए सोलर पावर की जो एलोकेशन है वो बढ़ी है। नेशनल ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन मिशन, इट इज़ अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट मिशन, आपको पता होना चाहिए इसके बारे में। एंड रेवेन्यू रिसीट्स एंड कैपिटल रिसीट्स, रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर, इफेक्टिव कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर। सो ऑल दीज आर द मेजर फिगर्स विच हैज़ बीन प्रोवाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट। होप कि ये जितना भी हमने डिस्कस किया आपको थोड़ा सा पता चला होगा कि क्या आपके प्री के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है और कौन कौन से एरियाज़ के ऊपर आपको फोकस करना है। थैंक यू, थैंक्स अ लॉट।